So I get this call that says that they broke a toilet and they needed it replaced. Look at this. I don't think I have ever seen someone break their toilet like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, take it apart, and replace it. Now this is going to be fun with how badly it's broken like this, because we don't want to get any pieces or shards in there. So the first thing we got to do is take that off and be very, very careful about it. Now, because the tank has already been drained, there's not going to be much water that comes out of there. And the tenants left these handy dandy towels, so I'll just leave them there and use it to clean up. Okay. Now, with how this is broken, I should be able to lift. Nope. Not quite. Okay. So now what we need is to remove the screws. There's one also underneath. There you go. Now you can see it. So I'm going to take my screwdriver here with a flat head, and take it apart. Sorry, this is my first recording with this phone, so it's kind of skillywonkus. And yes, I do use that word. Okay. Now, what we're hoping here is that these nuts on the bottom of these screws are going to come out really easy. So far, the first one is coming off pretty easy, because we want to check to see what type of damage was done to the back of this tank. Because the back of this tank, or the bowl I should say, the back of the bowl. So we now have the first bolt out. So actually pretty decent in length. Okay, now we go and we start removing the second bolt. And a lot of this stuff actually from the toilet I'll keep, because I can use it on other jobs to fix their toilet. Okay, now this bolt over here I'm a little worried about. Let me show you. Okay, my phone's been acting funky, so this might not be a full video, but I'll put the parts on I can. But this bolt, as you see, is through the crack. So with this bolt being through the crack, that's going to make it kind of fun to get out. But I'm going to go ahead and try. Okay. We have to be careful. Ooh. Because I just got a big huge chunk of porcelain out of it. Now porcelain may not look it because of how thick it is, but it can be very sharp. It can be like glass. So, let's see here. Okay, got that second bolt out. And like I said, that piece of porcelain came right out. Now, let's see here. Now we gotta take this off. And I kind of slowly rock it forward. And see on the bottom here, we've got our rubber that seals down to the toilet and where our two bolts go. So it looks like, looking at this and feeling around, it looks like it is actually still pretty good. So we should be able to go ahead and replace this. So I'll be back in a bit with the bowl. Okay, so here I got the tank. It's your standard plumber-friendly tank, and we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Now me, when I'm opening up a box like that, I don't use box cutters. I use pretty much, you know, like a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, anything like that, because then I'm not risking actually doing damage to the tank itself. And that makes it a lot nicer for me, so I'm not having to go out and buy another tank or something else. Okay. Now that we got it out of there, inside the tank is where all that stuff that I was telling you about. You got the rubber, you got your two new bolts, and this stuff is for your toilet, your bottom. So let's go ahead and take this and we put it around, and you want to make sure it's got a nice tight seal around it. And I come back here. We take these two new bolts and we pick up the cap that jumped from my hand, and I put everything I don't need back into the box. Okay, now we take and we want to line up on that hole. Now it should be loose and wobbly because you got that big rubber that's down there. Okay, now we take this off. And we take the washer off, so that all we got left is the screw and the rubber. We want the rubber as close to that screw as we can, because basically that's what's going to stop the water from going out of your tank through those two little holes there. Okay, now I'm going to put one through there. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one. It's me trying to find a place to set my phone. so that I can still talk to you guys. Now you get to see my foot. Okay, now I'll take, and I'll put that down through that hole. And I take the nut and the washer, and I put it on the bottom of these. Right now, just kind of hand tighten them, and not tipping the bowl any yet, because we want both of them on, and we want to slowly go back and forth before we actually start to tighten these up. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up with your tank leaning off to one side, and when it does that, that's not something that we can help. And plus it'll cause your tenants to look at you kind of funny as well. Okay, so I just tilted the tank so that it's where I want it. And then I do it again on this side. Slowly, like I said, working back and forth. Grab our handy dandy screwdriver. And we'll hold on to the nut. For the first while, it should be pretty decent. Now, what you're going to use to keep on with the nut is a pair of chain locks. I use a little pair because they're little nuts, so you don't need a lot of torque or a lot of power to hold on to them. And again, you just kind of feel where they are. Grab a hold of them, and the same concept. You're slowly tightening, going from side to side to side. Now you're going to kind of wiggle the bowl and nothing happens, so you're good. Next step is to come down under here. Now all of these come with this already attached. But as you saw, we've taken this off so we can take all this out. The rubber gasket, that little thing, because this has its own little ball. We put it on the end, and then we find the threads, and we take her up, grab our handy dandy chain locks. Now, what my dad used to always say is you want it a quarter turn past hand tight. Because these things are going to seal themselves anyway. Now the next step is we've got our little hook here that shows us how to flush the toilet. We take it, we want it down. So since it's already pretty tight, we're going to put it in the last and double check. It lifts it up and it's shut. Okay. Now, we turn on the water. And we check for drips while it's filling. I also like to take this little thing right here and I put it in its actual slide. I think that looks better. Okay, now we're going to sit here and wait for it to fill. Okay, now we see that it rolls in. So that's what this screw's for. This screw is going to push it down. So we want to lift it up, tighten that screw up a little, so that when it lifts up, the water is going to be well below this lip right here, because otherwise your toilet's just going to keep running. Now this right here, what this does is it tells you how far down the ball can go. Basically it's so that it doesn't catch on your flap right there. So now we wait for the toilet to fill right back up again. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay, we got it well below the line. If you can't see, that's where the water level is. Way up here's where the pipe is. Okay, now we could even loosen it up a little. Because see, this cap is kind of where we want it. Okay, perfect. Now, we just take the lid and put it on it. And there we go. We've now replaced the tank on a toilet. And this was all made possible by Standard Plumbing Parts. You guys have a wonderful day.